Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. As today, with our bridges thoroughly burnt, we push on to the end of the prologue. Ruin has come to our family. You remember our venerable ship, opulent and imperial, gazing proudly from its stoic perch above the void. Well, it turns out it's up to us to save it, so let's get to it. Goodness knows, no one else is coming to help. Theodora? Oh, and right into it. Brigands have overrun this ship. Stick to the side paths. The bridge is just ahead. Alright, we have to lock down that Servitor. Let's come in at an angle. We rolled pretty well in initiative, so this should work out in our favor.
A tactically sound approach.
Stand firm, Abelard! Valen? Dispatch these thugs in brutish fashion, that all might hear of your arrival. Sorry, I just got Darkest Dungeon on the brain today. Wayne June, man, he is incredible. Argenta. Watch those lines of fire.
I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury.
Well struck. Again.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone. Doubt is for the weak.
Adira. Prop up Abelard, make sure he can hold their attention. Oh. Their cursed champion falls. Wow, this went pretty great.
I've suffered worse.
Let's wrap it up.
Victory is imminent.
On it. I'll make it happen. Who, if not me?
Oops. Forgot I gave the shoddy to Valen. No worries.
Anything else?
And we're good. With a level up chaser. Man, that went way smoother than I thought it would. Mostly vendor trash, no surprise there. With the Grace of the Oblivious. +5 toughness if your intelligence is less than 35. Well, gosh, I may have just the person for that. Oh, Abelard. Enjoy it, bud. You've earned it. Now let's go ahead and knock out these level ups real quick. I think we're still in the basic class stuff. Oh, yes, that's our ultimate heroic abilities. Though we do get to choose our first talent, so that's something. Dismantling attack for both of our operatives. Plus, in both of their cases, Uncanny Sight, which is the pivotal talent for an operative-heavy party. I mean, ultimately, we are going to end up having every operative in our party. So, with Uncanny Sight on all of them, that'll be 4 stacks of exploit on every enemy, every turn. I was a little skeptical at first, but I tested it off screen, and it actually holds up pretty well, at least out to the end of Act 2. Though it does make for a party full of glass cannons. Which does make Abelard somewhat indispensable. Speaking of whom, he picks up Daring Breach. That's your basic melee multi-attack. And then for his talent, we are going to kick things off with Thick Skin. That should scale pretty nicely, since ultimately we do want him in heavy armor. Or power armor if we can actually get our hands on it. I did notice they've added power armor proficiency to the common talent list. Which just leaves Ardenta. And again, this one's pretty straightforward. She picks up Firearm Mastery, a basic multi-range attack. And then to help maintain her ammo-hungry archetype, we'll start her off with Rapid Reload. And that's it for level 4. Let's push on. The horrific vision is a product of the warp energies that permeate the bridge. That's probably fine. Adelthread.
Always keep your eye on the
The
prize.
first sacrifice opens the eye. The second sacrifice draws its gaze.
Oh dear. Adelthread, who's clutching a bleeding wound on his chest, gives you a tormented look. Help has arrived. Too late to change the tide, I'm afraid. But if there is any honor in you, we can at least die with dignity and give our lives for the rogue trader. Yeah, might be a bit late for that. Sorry to say, but Theodora's dead. Her and Mort both. It's just us, Adelthread. Adelthread's eyes widen. God Emperor, preserve us! The rogue trader is dead! The ship has lost her Lord Captain, and the house its head. Adelthread shudders and grabs his shoulder, as you watch the sleeve of his jacket bursts open, and 2 bone growths pierce through the fabric. No matter what ritual Conrad is performing there, the warp is too strong. I cannot withstand it. I feel my body changing with every second. The warp ringing in the air. This is the end. We will perish in the warp, along with the Warrant and all the dynasty's heirs. The enemy of humanity has triumphed. Nadira looks anxiously at Ethelthred, then she glances back at you. I've seen it before. We'd better get away from him. The changes are already accelerating. Ethelthred, listen to me. The ship can still be saved. We can still live through this. We just need access to the bridge controls. Ethelthred stares at you, and his eyes harden with cold resolve once more. Then we have no right to bow our heads. Oh yeah, he's still stabbing people. We should probably do something about that. You can see Conrad Voigtbeer clearly in the gloom of the bridge. The broken blade he is holding is stained with dark drops that seem to have a pearlescent glimmer to them. We're out of time! Ethelthred bites his knuckle, desperately thinking. You see a wave ripple across the whites of Ethelthred's eyes, and they begin to turn a sickly yellow. All right, people, weapons at the ready. We've got one shot at this. We might not survive, but by the Emperor, Voigtbeer will know he was in a fight. No, Valin. To die altogether is to allow the flame of the dynasty to perish in the dark. No, it will not be like this. Not today! Ethelthred lowers his head. Then he sighs and locks eyes with you, his gaze cold, haughty, and fanatical. The ritual will not be completed. I'll take care of it. And you, see to it that the void ship breaks free from the warp. Watch over our realm. And farewell. Accursed traitor! A time will come when you will bleed for her ladyship Theodora's murder. Remember my words, for they are the vow of he who marches toward his death. What? Theodora is dead? Voigtbeer stares at you in seemingly genuine bewilderment. No, that can't be. Not now. I still haven't...
Your ritual won't be finished, heretic!
Ah, good. Thanks, Ed. Appreciate the assist, buddy. This is fine. Alright. So, Toxic Spurt, that sounds delightful. Rending Scream. And Devourer. Minion-based self-heal, so that means we should clear the minions first, deprive it of healing. We also saw a couple of AoEs tucked in there. Let's space our guys out to start. Check the initiatives. All right, let's do this.
I'll make it happen.
Oh, fuck. I done got XCOM'd. Well, that's not a great start to this fight, but just gotta roll with it. Alright, Abby, let's get you stuck in there.
It will be done.
That's fine. That's fine.
At your back and forth.
Just gotta keep it distracted.
Just a minor setback.
Alright, Argenta, I'm gonna need you on the flank. Let's go right. Those guys are already entrenched. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Let's call the herd.
As the Emperor commands, I am. I am his will made manifest.
Send these vermin a message. The rightful heir has returned,
Without deeds is worthless.
and their kind is no longer welcome.
As the Emperor commands.
Nice.
Prayer. Doubt is for the weak.
That just leaves the two on the left. Nadira, please tell me you can get line of sight on the guy below. You cannot. Alright, let's do this then.
On it. Was it?
One left. No way Valen's getting line of sight. Oh. And down goes Abby. Hang in there, bud. Yes. Thank goodness we saved the mid-deck crew. Alright, let's bring down the big guy.
My gut tells me it's a bad idea. Don't let your guard down.
Trim the defenses. And pour it on.
Guided by faith.
Oh, that was fantastic. Oh, side note. Apparently her unique bolter is not completely inferior to a standard. It does have one higher rate of fire. So it is a bit of a trade-off.
Anything else?
Welcome back, Abby. Oof. Just a little longer, bud. Nice. Let's re-up the debuff.
On it.
And I think we've got this.
I'll make it happen.
Yeah, just in case.
I will do my duty.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade. The bigger the beast, the greater the glory. Well done, team. And level up, my goodness. Blade Shard. A blade made from a mysterious metal that shimmers with unnatural colors. So Voigtbeer left his blade shard behind. We'll hold on to it for him. I'm sure we can find some use for this thing. We also pulled Gloves of Endurance. Whenever the wearer of these gloves gets an injury or falls unconscious in combat, their allies gain a +1 bonus to damage. And the Mantle of Heroism requires Iconoclast Follower. Each heroic act used in battle increases the wearer's dodge by +20%. Up to 60%. Alright, seems pretty clear-cut. We'll toss the gloves to our resident tank. And the cloak will go to Valen, who long-term will become an assassin, so that extra dodge boost will certainly be useful. And sadly, we cannot loot the rest of these corpses. I guess you don't want to do that in front of the minions. Speaking of whom, Al, you made it! We won? We won! That we did, Al. That we did. Couldn't have done it without you. The Emperor protects. Let's do the level ups. We've got characteristic and common talent. Valen's pretty straightforward. We're cranking intelligence. We want that as high as it can go. Both for his combat effectiveness, but also for his skills. In fact, maybe I'll just... maybe we should go ahead and crank his intelligence up another 5 points now. What's... No. It's more important to grab Killing Plan. That one slightly boosts our damage output with Surefire Plan, but more notably, also restores a stack of Surefire Plan every time we get a kill. That will essentially guarantee that we'll never run out of stacks. We'll save the int boost for next time. Next we've got Abby. We've already picked up Thick Skin. So now let's work on his mobility a bit. We'll grab Ramming Speed. That should make it a bit easier for him to get stuck into combat. And we will bump his toughness, rounded out to a nice even 60. Next we have Adira, and she's going full Psyker at this point. We have the one operative talent we wanted. So we'll start cranking her willpower. And we will drop all the way down to her Psyker talents and grab Second Sight, which is... Oh, wait, actually... Right, scratch that. Instead of willpower, we'll bump Perception, round that out to 50. That way she can eke out an extra +5 on range with her psychic powers instead of just +4. We'll start cranking willpower next. And Argenta. Actually, wait a second. Was that a common slot or a full talent slot? Common slot. Okay, good. It threw me a little because Abelard got a full talent slot. Anyway, Argenta. We'll go ahead and round out her ballistic skill, bump that up to 50. And then for her second talent, again, a full talent, not a common talent, we'll grab Integrity. That'll give her an additional boost at the beginning of every combat, at least until she takes her first hit. And then from here on out, we'll start bumping her damage output. Start working some AoE stuff into her mix. Level up complete. Let's wrap the prologue.
The heir is dead. He sacrificed himself to save the entire dynasty.
Old man, he was never going to make it. He was mutating right in front of us. You just ended his suffering sooner.
Yeah. Ravor, Master Helmsman. System status report. By the Emperor, it's the Seneschal, living and breathing. The white-haired man with sickly pale skin salutes you. Well, there's a tricky question. The whole place is so overgrown with foul wickedry, we'll be scrubbing it off the vid screens for throne knows how long. So you must be the Master Helmsman. Good job surviving. How'd you manage? The man glances around the bridge. Must have been Providence. It better have been the Emperor's, not someone else's. When they barged in here, the ones with the Master of Whispers, some officers charged them, but it weren't even a fight. I grabbed whoever I could and dragged them behind the cogitators. Then I prayed for our rescue. Well, I'm glad you did. This all would have been for naught if you'd checked out before we got here. Come on, the navigator's waiting on us. We've got to get the ship out of warp. Your words seem to knock the officers out of their stupor, and the air around you fills with voices and commands being issued. You hear someone sobbing, one of the survivors buckling under the stress. Abelard cuffs the crying officer without even looking. Restore the box channels to the navigator's sanctum. Ready the crew. Prepare for translation to real space. Abelard pauses for a few seconds before turning to you. Valen, you may call me superstitious, but translation is not a good time to disregard rules. You are the one who speaks for House von Valancius. You may not be the Lord Captain, but you, more than anyone else, deserve to take her place in the ritual that is about to commence. He directs your attention upward, to the throne that sits at the apex of the tall staircase. Got it. Just tell me what you need me to do. We'll take it step by step. Take the Lord Captain's seat. Order the final preparations, wait for the officers to report. Blast it all to the void. Translation is a craft, not something to be explained in a tick. Just go up to the throne, Master Valen. These people are about to do the impossible. The least they deserve is the solace of seeing a figure sitting in the usual spot. Please hurry. Every second we waste is a terrible risk. Understood. Let's do this right, people. The image before you is hazy, swaying in sorcerous currents, invisible to mortal eyes, as if whatever is beneath this thin shell is constantly changing, while still remaining the same. It has taken on the guise of Theodora, but the false rogue trader's eyes reveal the entity's true, surreal nature. One of Theodora's eyes is engulfed in otherworldly fire, the other, a vessel of ancient evil, bores into you. A voice seeps directly into your brain without ever reaching your ears, and this voice booms with all the horrors of the warp. Who are you to oppose destiny itself for the sake of lives that are not your own? So many threads stretch between you and other creatures of your world. Pitiful, worthless links, ready to shatter at the slightest touch. A muddled, erratic, pointless tangle. It resonates and merges with the voices that have already dug their foul roots into your consciousness. A moment later, you realize that all these voices are the myriad manifestations of the same call that has finally invaded your mind. Do your worst, you foul abomination. I'm saving these people. If you could stop me, you would have already done it. Theodora lets out a long screech, a shrill, overwhelming sound that can only be interpreted as laughter. Lead them, mortal. Guide them, persuade them, force them to walk your path. You will need followers, for destiny is preordained. Your head begins to spin and viscous drops slither down your cheeks. You blink, and you are no longer looking at Theodora. It is the traitor, Voitvir, just as fluid and ephemeral as the previous apparition. The same terrifying voice seethes from his lips. The aspirant vowed to return with a trophy, a relic that could serve the edge of daybreak. That fate was assured in the steps chosen. And yet, you broke the unbreakable when you took the aspirant's place. I see you on the day when the final dawn rises over the Iron World. I see you by my side on that day. The day of my resurrection. The image is scattered by invisible, sorcerous winds, and you see Adira, her eyes aglow with the same sinister flame. Your image is woven into the tapestry of things to come. I am the will of the Weaver of Destinies, and today I will weave a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you out of the maw of irreversibility. The thread that will help you find the keys to salvation. The thread that will guide you in the weapon of our return to me. A cavalcade of hazy glimpses of a future yet unknown passes before your eyes. A flash of crimson, purple. The images replace one another in a violent kaleidoscope, without ever letting you get a proper look at them. Through the rippling mirage, you see a twisted image of Abelard, the loyal seneschal of your dynasty. The path is set, child of the dawn. The thread is woven. Follow it, servant of mine. Ravor turns around and looks up at you. He hesitates for a few moments, then addresses Abelard, who is standing next to you. Seneschal, the Navigator's sanctum is silent. The Vox signal is stable, which means... Abelard nods absent-mindedly. The Navigator gave his life battling the storm that nearly claimed the Von Valancius flagship. We will honor his memory, along with that of all who died this day. Ravor does not look away. He is giving you a hard stare, his white brows furrowed. Seneschal, will you tell us now? Who is that? Where's the Lord Captain?
As First Officer, it is my duty to inform you, with the greatest regret and indelible sorrow, that Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius is dead. May her memory never fade from the annals of the dynasty.
It takes time for Abelard to respond. You watch as he grits his teeth, unable to bring himself to string the words together. Finally, he adjusts his blood-stained coat, straightens, and speaks again.
By right of blood succession, and with the absence of other kin who could challenge this decision.
After waiting out the first wave of shocked cries, Abelard glances at you and continues.
It is hereby declared
that the successor to Theodora von Valancius is her heir, the rightful inheritor of the Warrant of Trade, and the title of Rogue Trader. The official ascension ceremony will be held at a later time. In the interim... have you lost your tongues? Hail your lord! It is because of his toils that we all still live.
Abelard stops short and glares fiercely at the confused officers.
The deed is done, Master. My apologies. I meant to say Lord Captain.
The seneschal nods to him. He looks at least a half a decade older.
The treachery of the Master of Whispers was fruitless, but victory came at a great cost. Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius perished along with her heir, Edelthrad, and thousands of crew members. Yet hope remained. For the second in line to the Rogue Trader dynasty survived. And through the strength of his resolve, saved those who were counting on him for protection.
Prologue complete. We'll pick up here next time. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Revenant, Alois, Blindiron, CrowkingLoR, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, Theory V23, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.